to yet another edition of the Hockey Republic. My name is George Njuguna. We have been away on a break. Hii kazi lazima ufike mahali upumzike. Bure
na,
fatigue.
na pia unajua watu hawangetusikia kama tungekuwa tunaongea na pia kuna story ya national election, so
fikira za watu zilikuwa zimeenda kwingine, but we are back. Ulikuwa na tallying center yetu, sisi hatutawaambia sababu tunaweza fungwa.
yeah.
So but tuko hapa. Simon, how are you?
I'm doing well. Feeling a bit exhausted. It's been a tough week, but Mungu ni mwema. So far so good.
Weekend upumzike. Sababu uko na weekend moja inakuja mrefu sana.
Yeah, we have a very long weekend coming next week.
Yeah, so lazima
and an exciting one.
Yes, an exciting one. We'll be letting you know about that. But today we have a review to do. That is two things: the league, and of course, they just concluded Commonwealth. Not necessarily talking about Kenya because we had a conversation about Kenya, and we'll just touch on it. But we'll also talk about what how the African teams have been have performed in this in the just concluded Commonwealth. So that, and of course, the new developments in the African hockey, and that is in terms of the different committees that have been set up. One of the guests we've hosted here before has been appointed, and he was really excited about it. So we are going to discuss that also, and several other things that has been happening. The league is also coming back, so we are going to have
hopefully
yes.
Hopefully coming back.
Yeah, so we have that and so much more to discuss. So I don't know where you want us to start from, Simon.
We can start from anywhere.
Okay, let's talk about
the mid-season.
The mid-season.
The first leg of KHU leagues is more or less done, but there are still a lot of first leg games that were postponed and have not been played.
That is especially for the women's league, right?
Yes, as well as the Super League. So there are a couple of games that have not been played. I think there are around 5 games that were postponed. That is the Super League men. And for the ladies, half of the first leg games are also postponed. I don't know how Engineer Majiwa and his team is going to manage the fixtures, considering that we only have how many months to next year? Is it 3-4 months?
3-4 months.
And they usually like having the league done within the calendar year. So I don't know how they're going to manage that. There are a lot of games that need to be played. I don't know whether we are going to see midweek fixtures or we are going to see double fixtures for a team that is on a Saturday and Sunday every weekend. And until the congestion is done, I don't know how KHU is going to handle that, but it will be hectic. It will be hectic to manage those fixtures.
And I think the good thing is that at least we have 2 extra pitches, and let me put it in quotes, in the sense that the national leagues are not being played on Astro, so that gives it some more time. We don't have any international fixtures, is there? I'm trying to remember if there's anything we need to prepare for.
I think that we still have the qualifiers.
But now, is it happening in Kenya or it's going? Because I think we are done with our region, so we are going.
We are done with our region.
So we are going into the next. So, but then I don't think the dates, if I'm not so sure, it's early next year. But I stand to be corrected on that. So if that is not the case, then that means maybe December is when we are going to have that. So with the national leagues being held at Strathmore University, so that gives it that lifts a load off. then we are guaranteed of some Super Leagues being played at what is it called? I'm trying Simba Union, Nairobi Simba Union
Mhm.
grounds.
Mhm. But
So let
they're only Simba
Simba
Sikh
Union
Union
games, yes.
games. Yeah, they're only Sikh Union games.
Labda
Unajua
watapewa
Bush.
home games peke yake.
Unajua itakuwa hectic. Why I'm saying it will be hectic
Yeah, it
because
will be. Yeah.
remember in the second leg we are going to have Masters Series 3. I
Yes.
think it should be sometime in November.
But that
We
one
also,
will not be in Nairobi, right?
yeah, it will be
It's
Nakuru.
supposed to go to Nakuru or something after that.
Yes, it will be Nakuru, and then
Yeah.
we are going to have the Mombasa tournament that's usually around about the start of October, the
Yeah.
weekend of the 10th of October,
Mm.
around about there.
Yeah.
So that's another weekend out, and then we also have to give considerations to the weather.
Mhm.
From time to time, we've seen whenever it rains, some
Yeah.
of the matches are either called off or they are cancelled. So it's something that we need to be prepared for in terms
Mhm.
of the league spilling over to next year.
Mhm.
But it is manageable. I think if we can have midweek games, then
Yeah.
we can be able to manage to finish the games before December this year.
But then that means Majiwa is calling a meeting with the team managers to agree on that.
Yeah, they have to,
Good.
and remember that. Well, we usually have teams calling for postponements of matches, especially the universities. I think most
Yeah.
of them right now, or between September and between August, September, and October, they still don't have their students back in. And then you remember there is also the KUSA that is going to start in around September.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be a tricky position for Majiwa and his team, because they
Mm.
had only anticipated that after the election we'll immediately go back into playing the league, but as things stand, we'll have to lose around about 2 to 3 weeks. But as I said, it is manageable. It can be done. That is crossing our fingers and hoping that we don't have any disruptions
Yeah.
during the second leg.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
true. Anyway, we hope to engage him as weeks go by. I think even next week, if it's possible, we might get him here just to talk about what preparations they have for the second league and what plans they have.
Mm.
Even as we talk about, I don't know if we should combine these two, but yeah, I think let's talk about it. The Masters League, because you had mentioned it. So let's
Mhm.
roll over to it. And but before we go there, maybe we can remind people, because watu wanaweza kuwa wamesahau nani yako wapi kwa ligi. As things stand. So I don't know
Tafadhali,
if
kama
eh,
inawezekana usionyeshe hiyo league table.
nisioneshe.
League table.
Sitaonesha league tables.
Kama
I will just mention
inawezekana.
it, and I'll start with the men's league, and this is
Mhm,
men's Premier League. Butali are on top of the league, having played 9
mhm.
matches with
Yep.
23 points, followed closely by Kenya Police with 22 points. Remember, Police have lost 1 match, and that is the edge that Butali has over them. Number 3
Mhm.
is Wazalendo, and bottom of the league. And this is why Simon doesn't want me to read, rather show this table, is because Backroad ninth with
Mm,
6 points from 9 games. Yani hata zile
mhm,
games mmecheza zimewashinda. But
mm,
if you thought they were worse, then you should look at Mombasa Sports Club, who only have a point and have
mhm.
conceded 17 goals, have a goal difference of 17 from 9 matches played. So I wonder how the
Negative
second leg
17,
will
yeah.
look like for them.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Super League. Okay, go on.
Mombasa Sports Club, I think they will improve in the second leg. I
Okay.
think that COVID break
Yeah.
broke their momentum, because that
Hmm.
team was really strong towards the end of the 2019 season. They had good players there who had already gelled, and that having that COVID break really disrupted their progress. In
Simon,
fact,
pardon me, but I think that's
yeah,
an excuse because si ati ni Mombasa Sports Club peke yake ilikuwa na COVID. Kila
no,
kila
you
it
know,
was a level playing
Jagosh,
field for everyone.
it's actually it's not an excuse. It's
Mm,
not an excuse, because
yeah.
if you look at a team's momentum,
Mm-hmm.
little things can break a team's momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the level of competition from the Mombasa side compared to the
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi side. During COVID, yes,
Mm-hmm.
Mombasa had their Mombasa Circuit. The Nairobi
Mm-hmm.
teams had their small friendlies and tournaments here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot compare the level of competition that is in the county of Nairobi and other areas
And that
compared to
of
Mombasa.
Mombasa.
So,
Oh,
yes, they were dominating the Coast League and stuff. But now, when you get teams in Nairobi, it's a totally different
scenario.
atmosphere, to a different league. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can see it as an excuse, but to me, I think it's a huge factor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge factor. In fact, most teams, if you look at
Mm-hmm.
most teams that are currently dominating, they had to work harder to get to where they are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel for them, but let's
Mm-hmm.
hope that second leg they'll improve. I was having a conversation with my good friend Mariano, and I was telling him that if they need to start climbing up that table, they need to improve their home performance, because they are not also winning at home, and
Yeah.
they should be dominating in their home ground. So
Yeah.
if you can win your home matches, it means
Mm-hmm.
that more or less you can win 50% of your matches
Yeah.
at home, and you'll be mid table. And then now in the second season, the Premier League,
Mm,
they can now look at climbing up the table, because it's not easy in the Premier League. It's not easy also in the Super League. Yeah.
mm, mm. Okay, let's look at the Super League now that you've mentioned it. Sikh Union are um, sitting top of the league with 28 points from 11 matches.
Hmm.
Second is KCA with 25 from the same number of games, and third is KU from with 18 points with the same number of games.
Hmm.
This league had how many teams had played advantage? I think it was Mvita and something else, or it wasn't in Super League.
Super
There's a
League.
discussion. It was Super League, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So it was. I think Mvita is the only one which played an extra matches, or rather started getting into the second league. Anyway,
If
bottom of the
yeah,
league.
even if you look at at my team Pakro Tigers,
Yeah,
we have played 11 games alongside MMU and Took.
yeah,
And Parklands. Vita have already played 12, though they have started their second leg matches already.
yeah.
And you look at the 12 matches they've played, they have 16 points, 15 points.
15.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the, if you compare them with like MMU and Park Road, you can say that they are safe, but they are
mm,
still in danger of losing points, because I think now some of their games will be in Nairobi, or most of their games will be in Nairobi.
yeah.
Yeah. Sikh Union, they are doing very well,
Hmm.
having 28 points out of the maximum 33.
Yeah.
That is good.
Mm,
That is good. That is a form that will take them back to the Super League.
yeah.
But having watched them play, once they go back to the Premier League, they need to do some recruitment,
Yeah.
because the level of competition I've seen in the Premier League, and having a look at how Sikh Union are playing in the Super League,
Mm,
they will need to freshen up the squad, especially in the midfield area.
mm,
Remember, they lost some of their players like Bobo.
yeah.
So when they go back to the Premier League, they need to look for fresh
But
fresh
that's not a
blood.
problem for Sikh because they have the money, they have the resources, and many good players who would want to move from one, probably, let's say, Premier or even national league, because I know that's where majority of the players are gotten from, it will be easy to convince someone to come, because they know they'll be playing on good astroturf, and it's easier. So, and also having the
It
right
also it
muscle, they
yeah,
can
it also depends on who they approach to recruit, because
yeah,
every club has their own philosophy in terms
yeah,
of recruitment.
hmm,
We've seen Butali, they usually like going for the top dogs, the top players
yeah,
in the country.
hmm,
We've seen Kenya Police, they like scouting the young upcoming players, molding them into what they want. We've seen the likes of Azalendo do the same.
hmm.
So Simba, honestly, if you ask anyone what what is Simba's recruitment policy, it's difficult to say. There
Usually
was a
they
time
like
they used.
getting from, if history is anything to go by, they have gotten a lot of players from Strathmore,
Stratham
yeah,
and USIU.
and USIU. So that essentially tells you what they have been up to. About a month ago, I happened to go home, and I went and attended a Bungoma farmers training, and
Mm-hmm.
I met the likes of Olang, who,
Mm-hmm.
if you notice, they were really out of touch with the stick, but now he seemed to have been getting better, because I watched him play that in that training, and it was really good for him. And so I
Mm-hmm.
believe also individually a lot of people are playing, and so we are going to see a more vibrant and and better squad from Sikh Union. So I really
Yeah.
don't. If they are to recruit, they may do one or two changes,
Mm-hmm.
but majority, I know they are going to retain a lot of players.
Yeah. Yeah. But as I said, the level the Premier League is right now.
Hmm,
It's highly technical, highly physical. You see a lot of teams making a lot of runs. It's high intensity.
hmm,
If you compare it to the Super League, yes, Super League does offer some of that.
hmm,
But now for them, they need to seriously start planning for next season
hmm,
early enough so that they can get the players. Remember, also the other teams are watching and they are
hmm,
looking at the players who are there and they are saying we need to create space for this player next season. Who
hmm,
knows? Probably the likes of Wazalendo might release some players and also recruit.
hmm,
The likes of Butali might also want to recruit more players, police as well.
hmm,
So, and we know at the moment in the Kenyan market, in the Kenya hockey market,
hmm,
there are not so many top players around that are free to move.
hmm,
Um, yeah, so at the moment, if you look at the Super League
hmm,
and the Premier League, most of the players that are currently playing will also continue playing in their teams. And as you
hmm,
said, Simba always look to recruit from the university. So how many players are going to leave the university side next season and
hmm,
join the likes of Simba? So
hmm,
I think for them, if they have a good strategy going into next season, they can
hmm,
start making those negotiations and recruitment deals early enough. Similar to any other team, like for example, we are seeing that KCA is
hmm,
in second place.
hmm,
KCA have also maintained their squad for long, and it's a
hmm,
squad that is also aging. So if
hmm.
they do go to the Premier League, will
Though, though, though
this
Willie is
squad,
always, mhm.
yeah.
Willie is always confident. Sorry to cut you short. That
Mhm.
he still has kind of a second squad in the Kusa League, so he might get a few people from that side.
Yeah, yeah, you can get a few people from that side, but Njugush, you can speak to anyone who has played Kusa and has played the Super League
Mhm.
and now has moved to the Premier League. The Premier League is a totally
It's a
different
totally
class.
different ball game. Yeah.
Every mistake is punished.
Mhm.
Every wrong decision is punished. You can't
Mhm.
afford to have a player who's learning their trade play
Mhm.
in the Premier League. And if you look at Wazalendo, that is what is affecting Wazalendo at the moment because they have some players who have yet to get a taste of Premier League. This is the first season getting the Premier League, and you see how things are turning out. Yes, they are starting to improve, but it's a huge factor. So as long as you're going to play in the top tier league, you need to
Yeah.
recruit well. You need to be
Yeah.
smart in your recruitment, as
Mhm.
well as you need to also to release some players that you feel that um, won't be of help to you, so that you can create space for other players to come
Mhm.
in, as well as
Mhm.
also players. If you're eyeing to play in the Premier League next season, and your
Mhm.
team is in that pole position to get to Premier League next season, you start planning right now
Mhm.
by showing the other teams in your current league that you're ready to play in that level.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it will be a case of Park Road and MSC, where you've gotten to the Premier League, you're not well prepared,
Mhm.
you've not recruited well, you've not set up your team well, and you start getting heavy defeats.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, let's wait and see. I don't know. You had mentioned bottom of the league, right? So
Mm.
we don't have to go back to that.
One
Let's
thing
go.
one thing I want to mention is, if you look
Mhm.
at bottom half of the table, that's also a very
Yeah.
competitive area.
Yeah.
Because you look at JQuat and JQuat Youngsters and Park Road all
Yeah.
got promoted into the Super League. You can
Mhm.
see the difference. JQuat are higher up uh,
Yeah.
compared to Youngsters and Park Road.
Where are you living
J
to? Because Took have been there. Yeah.
Took have been there.
Yeah.
Took are also getting to, Took they've had Maxi as their coach. Right? This season is when we are starting to see his philosophies come into play. We are seeing
Mhm.
how Took is playing. Took is now well structured. You can see their philosophy. You can see how they are passing the ball. You can see that he's trying to tell them to not hit the ball. Basically,
Mhm.
Took right now, Took and KU are
Mhm.
the two university sides that are playing good hockey. They're not playing the usual university hockey that you're used to seeing, the one
Yeah.
of piga twende, hit
Yeah.
and
And
run.
it's of
No,
Pahuche.
yes,
Yeah.
my tongue can't handle that.
But
Yeah.
you're my brother. It should be easier for you.
I'll learn. I will learn. So you look at those two university sides; they are really trying to play some good hockey. Their coaches are young coaches, young upcoming coaches. They are trying to embed those ideas and philosophies, and it has taken them time, and we are seeing the difference. So it's good to see that. JQuat still, I feel that JQuat have not yet really gotten to their stride. If
Mhm.
you look at even the wins they've had,
Mhm.
they've had some element of luck, which is required in any game anyway. But
Mhm.
they are cutting it close. They're
Mhm.
cutting it close, and once the teams realize how they are playing, they are going to suffer, especially in the second leg. So they need to
Yeah.
start playing as a unit. There's a lot of individual play in the JQuat side, and they
Yeah.
need to start playing as a team.
Yeah.
Um, MMU, I don't know what's happening to them this season, to be honest. I don't know whether it's because they lost some of their key players. They also seem to be struggling a bit, and they also need to start finding their way. Otherwise, they'll find themselves in the relegation battle at the far end of the season.
And actually, if you look at MMU and youngsters, they are only separated by a point.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
MMU have, or rather, youngsters have a game in hand. So
Mm,
anything can change in that one game.
yeah.
And then also looking at the goal difference. Though I think I watched the last two games MMU played. The first one was the second last game was against Sikh Union, of which they really played well, but made very obvious blunders, and one of them included, their time of getting into the pitch,
Mm,
because you and I have had these discussions, and you always say that you know. A player getting to the pitch and even the technical team getting into the pitch on time is something that is really really important, because I took note of their game against Sikh Union. the technical teams, some of the technical team officials, got to the pitch, late, and I think that
Mm,
was part of the thing that helped them, or rather made them lose that game. Their next match, their last match, I think I can't remember who it was against, but must have been an away team. I think it was Youngsters. Yes, it was
mm,
Youngsters, if I'm
mm.
not wrong. And they improved because they were there on time. Everyone was there on time, and they performed, really well. And so I think these little mistakes we keep talking about are things that cost them and can
Yeah,
cost.
Njugush, one thing that really disappoints me is that we want to make our sport professional, but we are not acting like professionals.
Yeah,
Some a venture cannot become professional if you yourself you're not professional in
yeah,
what you're doing. For
yeah.
example, you have the fixtures beforehand.
Hmm.
The fixtures are not sent, or you do not receive a fixture, let's say on a Friday evening, and you're told you have
Hmm.
a fixture tomorrow. You have your fixtures beforehand. You
Hmm.
have a game, for example, on the 29th at 11 a.m.
Hmm.
Start
Hmm.
planning early. Start getting
Yeah.
those players ready. There is that
Hmm.
element of professionalism that we don't have. And this is
Hmm.
why I keep calling for training. Let's have training for team managers. Let's have training for technical managers of a club. Uh,
Hmm.
let's not have the coach be the one who's organizing the jerseys, or the captain who's the one who's organizing the jerseys, organizing the transport,
Hmm.
looking for players. Let's start introducing those elements of professionalism, and we will start seeing this game go to the next level.
Hmm.
Yeah, so people are calling for live stream of matches. Juguna, we'll talk about it in the next segment, and
Yeah.
and people call for live stream of matches. Our commentators had a struggle. Why? Because we ask teams to, and this is the masters side. We ask
Yeah.
teams to start to submit or transmit their starting lineup early. We
Hmm.
get the starting lineup in the second quarter. It makes it difficult for our commentators to start learning the squad at that
Yeah.
time. So
And now that
it's
you've mentioned that, I think it took us, I think, half a day to now get to know players, and we had to, within the breaks, get to go and ask who is that, and
yeah.
eventually people started feeding us with info,
Mm.
and it ended up being a good discussion. But I think, yeah, you're right. Those are some of the things that needs to happen. Let's have team lists way on
Ali,
time.
like
Yeah, because I
personally,
was,
I
yeah,
like
I was, I
personally,
was,
I've always been at City Park to watch all the games and try to update our social media. It's
Mhm.
difficult to get the lineup for a team. They
Yeah.
know, for example, we know that they are going to play a game at 11,
Hmm.
but the starting lineup is done minutes to the game, and
Hmm.
that has been going on for years and years and years. So now, if even if we wanted to introduce the element of live streaming of matches, or we
Yeah.
wanted not even to do live stream, let's say live updates of a match, it becomes
Yeah.
difficult, because even when I sit with my team, or let's say another media house comes with their team and they want to do live coverage of the game, they don't
Yeah.
have the lineup beforehand. They don't know who's the coach. They don't know which player is wearing which jersey.
Yeah.
Most of our teams don't have player names in their jerseys. So as much as we talk about all these other things, can we start now implementing some professionalism in our game, so
Mhm.
that it also, as you've said, such issues will come to an end? For example, a player will know, um, in the next 2 hours, I need to be at the stadium. I need to be with my team, seated there and waiting for my next fixture. The TM during that time is organizing the jerseys, if they have a snack before the game. Let's start having those, and that only comes with, as we keep saying, culture. What is our culture? Do we
Yeah.
take this sport seriously to that level where we can say, as a team, we will become disciplined? We've seen this, Njugush. We've seen this problem also with the
Yeah.
top teams. you
Yeah.
can't you can't get a team list, let's say 30 minutes before a game. So it's something that also I think whoever is doing the media coverage for KHU needs to also start looking. For example, I don't mind seeing KHU releasing a lineup, let's say 30 minutes, whatever, because most of the time the games end 30 minutes before the next game is played. So can we start having that lineup? So let's the bottom line is let's start introducing some professionalism in our game.
And talking of professionalism, kudos to teams like Strathmore and well, Strathmore is the one that comes to my mind because I once asked Senge this. I asked him, Senge, how hard is it for me to get a team list an hour before? Because that's always the usual tradition in the English Premier League. An hour before, usually the team list is out.
Actually, it's not even in football. You saw Commonwealth the other day. You are going to their website before Kenya's game, like 30 minutes before Kenya's game, and there was already a lineup there, and it was already showing the cards that each player has, and it was already showing who the coach will be, who the technical team or the technical director of that team or technical manager is. All those details are there. You can easily follow. It also makes it easier for even the media to cover the game. The other day, I was in Nakuru covering that tournament, and you had guys calling in and asking who has scored for this team. The good thing we had access to team lists and match sheets because we were also assisting in managing the system that tabulates the stats. So now, when we come to the league, most of the time you find journalists call into Hockey or they text in and ask, okay, who scored in this game? So we will start now scrambling, looking for match sheets, and we don't know who scored, who played, who started the game, who got the card. So it's an element of also of professionalism, and we keep saying that to peleke game the next level. You find that also teams themselves don't post their
team list,
starting line team lists on their timelines. It will it's an effort, yes. At the start it will be difficult, but let's start doing it. You don't need to have a good graphic or something like that. You can just have a simple photo of City Park or your guys warming up using a mobile phone and post the lineup. We even if you tell guys that these are the guys who are playing 1 hour in advance, there is no anti-tactic you are leaking.
We know each other.
We know each other. You can even predict who's going to play, but let's start having that element of changing the face of the game.
Yeah, that's true. And remember, you can engage with us on our different social media handles. I have two. Let me just get to read some of them. This is veteran one, Duncan Waiganja, who says, "Thanks for the good work, guys. God bless you." Thank you so much, sir. I hope to see you in Mombasa on the weekend of 3rd. And
next weekend.
Moses Omondi is asking, what about Mount Kenya University?
We are coming to that league.
They are coming to that league. Yeah, so Simon, let's quickly rush through the National League and then we go to what is it called? I'll leave Masters for now. Let's just go through the National League and then we go to the Women's League quickly. In the National League, the Eastern Zone, Daikyo are at 21 points from 7 matches, followed closely by Mombasa West with 16 points from 7 matches also. Third is Impala with 11 points from 7 games. Take note that Daikyo has not lost any game. They have a clean sheet and have a goal difference of 16, having just allowed 2 goals to their net. West is interesting because even for them, they have lost only 1 match and with a goal difference of 10, 6 goal difference. And of course, Impala has lost two matches. Very interesting league, the Eastern Zone. What's your take on it?
Uh, one of the things that disappoints me, and one of the teams that disappoints me, is Impala.
Hmm.
Impala is Impala is a club that should not be participating in the National League. More or less, or more so, they shouldn't be struggling. Right now, we
Hmm.
should be seeing them having a 100% record because most of their games are being played on home ground.
Yeah.
They're being played on their own ground. And number two,
But
they
give it
have
to
all the
them, Simon. They started, I think, the third or the fourth game. So that's when the games were moved there.
either way, Njogosh,
Uh-huh.
either way, this is a club that it has all the facilities that most clubs are looking for and yearning for. They have access to a pitch. They have access to fitness facilities. Their grounds are easily accessible from the CBD. They can
Yeah.
train. They can train over weekends without really having trouble. Most of the teams we know, they share their grounds. Um, for example, compare Green Sharks and Impala.
Hmm. That's true.
Impala should be at the level where Green Sharks are.
Yeah, that's
In
true.
all honesty, yeah.
Hmm.
So it's either down to them how they recruit. It's either down to actually, I think their recruitment policy needs to be looked into. They also
Hmm.
need to look at their purpose. Are they a
Hmm.
club that just want to participate in playing hockey, of which I
Hmm.
don't think so, because we know Impala is an elite club. Impala
Yeah.
Sports Club as a whole, is an
Hmm.
elite club. They play elite football, they play elite rugby, they have all these, and they also participate in badminton and all this. But hockey does not give that picture of Impala as an elite club. So they also need to start looking at that and start saying, or ask the questions: are we just having a hockey team so that they can participate in the league, or do you want that hockey team to be in the Premier League? Because when you mention Impala, the first thing that comes into your mind when you mention
Yeah.
Impala Club, the first thing that comes to your mind is their rugby team, because that's one
Yeah.
of their most successful franchise. But their hockey team is not showing that at the moment, and they need to start improving. I've gone there for a couple of training sessions, and I can say that they need to look at their philosophy, their recruitment, and also the players themselves need to ask questions. But I've been recruited by this massive club, this elite club. Am I really
Hmm.
handling myself as a player who represents this club? Because it can't just be that tuna participate kwa ligi and that's it. For me, honestly, I think Impala is a team that should be at the top. Them and Daikyo should be at the top. They should be
Hmm.
neck to neck. Um,
Hmm.
they should be outright winners of this league.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Sawa. Maybe we should challenge their veterans, the
Mhm.
likes of Bila, to try and sort them out. Because I know Bila has rather his veteran side is there. Bottom of the league, we have Karate with 3 points from 8 games. I think we
Mhm.
know if
Mhm.
you don't understand the reason why Karate are here, probably you need to visit one of our shows. The one we had with Lal. Then you'll get to explain.
Wa-
You get to
Was it
understand.
episode 15 or 16?
I think 15, if I'm not
Mhm.
wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, you will get to understand why that. So
Yeah.
go into the what is it called on YouTube. You should be able
Mhm.
to get it,
Mhm.
and even on Facebook. Yeah, and then we have
Mhm.
Chapel, new entrance into the league,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, with only a point from seven games. Uh, I don't know. It's their first time, so
So
maybe we
they're
should.
they are doing well. I mean,
Mhm.
Njugush, this team is doing very, very well.
Yeah,
Look at even their goal difference compared to the likes of Karate, who've been playing hockey for some time.
yeah,
And you look at Chapel; it's a new team. Their coach is a new upcoming coach. They are doing
yeah.
very, very well. in the sense that it is their first time. It is a debut season. If you compare to other clubs' debut season, we've seen them
Yeah,
concede 30 goals within 5 matches. You've seen them.
yeah.
You remember, I used to have teams that were conceding 21-0, 18-0.
Sema 2 days.
Stop pointing fingers and mentioning names. But this is not the only one. I mean, even when I was at Kimathi University when we started, we were conceding 6 goals, 7 goals, and we stuck
Lakini
there.
hiyo ni wakati wenu. One Washira will tell you that wakati wao hawako wanapata hizo mabao.
No, as if you look at a side like Nairobi Chapel, most of them you'll find that there are guys who don't have experience playing in a hockey league. Probably they have experience playing in a Kusa league or a high school league or college league. Most of them won't have that experience playing in the league. This is their first time. Like us, ourselves at Kimathi, there were guys who, back then when we started Kimathi University hockey team, there were guys who actually started playing hockey then. Like our goalkeeper Isaac had never trained hockey, but by the second season he was one of the best goalkeepers in the National League. And I remember that in our third season we finished third. KU and Tuk finished first and second respectively, and we finished third. And it was in our third season we kept improving by each season. So Nairobi Chapel, they need to continue. They don't need to look at the results and say, oh, we have not performed well, let's pull out the team from the league. No, they need to continue till they will start improving day by day.
I know. I don't think they are going to, pull them out because I know this is an evangelism arm of the church. So I don't think they are going to do that anytime soon. But Simon, I want to bring your attention to University of Nairobi, who are 7th with 6 points from 2 matches.
Yeah.
Is this a team that will give the top 3 teams a run for their money?
UON is a team that I usually call them wildcard teams. Wildcard teams are teams that they can really impress or they can desperately disappoint you. Because UON is a team that has known to have internal issues, internal politics. We've experienced that from time and time, and I hope that now the coach will be able to weather that and tell them, look, last season we had a lot of issues. This season I'm not going to allow it, and we have 6 points from 2 matches, and we've seen that we can go to the top. Yes, if they steady the ship, they can go all the way and get to the top and even rival Daikyo. But if those issues still continue, then they will have those mixed results. The problem with most university teams is that from time to time politics start creeping in, or you find that the students are no longer interested in playing hockey for one reason or another. So more or less, it comes down to the leadership. It comes down to the coach, the team manager, and the captain to make sure that the team have their feet to the ground and they continue working together as a team. They continue performing together as a team, and not allow any hard-headed players or any kiburi players, proud players to come into the squad and destabilize them. Because one of the things we've seen in universities is that teams, good players always get to play, regardless of whether they train or not. So if they allow such things, then they will be affected. Case in point, if you look at KU and Tuk, the coaches have weeded that out. If you don't train, you don't play. And look at those two teams at the moment. So UON also need to get to that level and say, hey, our rivals, because UON is one of the biggest university teams in the country. They need to look at KU, they need to look at multimedia, they need to look at Tuk and say, we should be playing against those teams and even much better teams. So yes, they can get to the top if they are rooted and keep their heads down and keep working together as a team.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know I'll talk about the ladies in just a bit, but let me read Anthony Omalo, another veteran for wanaitwa nani, Blue Ocean Chiefs, who says good job guys, Mombasa has the youngest players per age, majority are secondary school players, they have shown very good results. Thank you so much Wamalwa. Na tengenezea Saimo, inaitwa nini Saimo, what's your poison, allow me to use that word.
Mi bora tu nipate chapati.
Upate chapati
ama viazi karai nitakuwa tu sawa.
Viazi karai hapo kwa viazi karai niko na wewe na pilau.
Yeah, actually before we go on, I see today yenyewe time imesonga sana. One of my most favorite places to be is Mombasa, and I think most guys who know me know I love going to the coast, Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Malindi, Diani. The reason is because those guys they are easy, as in they're easy to interact with. For those guys who live in Nairobi know that Nairobi kuna pressure, even if it's a holiday, bado kuna pressure. It's like you need to do something.
You can't just sit
like yeah, you can't just sit. You can't just sit and relax. You know, I'm sure in Jugush you've also seen this. Like when you go to some place, let's say kwa base, upate watu wamekaa tu wamechill. You are like, they are failures in life. Why are they just sitting and doing nothing? You know. But when you go to the coastal side, you can chill. As in, you find guys seated, you join them. You have a chill time. You know, you chat, you banter each other about football, politics. They are so chill. That's why I love going to that place. For me, it's that's my poison. So as long as I'm there, that's my poison. Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's quickly look at the Western Zone of the National League men. Blue Pirates and Kitale are top of the league with 13 points from 6 games for Blue Pirates and 5 games for Kitale. Number 3 and 4 have also tied, and this is a very interesting one because Bay Club are at number 3 with 7 points from 5 games. And then Nandi Hawks are at the same points. They have tied with the same points, but they have played 1 extra game. And then if you look at the bottom of the league, but let me just read all of it anyway. Bungoma are 5th with 4 points from 6 games. University of Eldoret have 3 points from 3 games. They have lost 2 games? Yeah, only won 1. And then Kisii Falcons are last with 3 points from 5 games played. I don't know what's up with Kisii Falcons because they started their, I think they won their first, or rather drew their first 2 games. And then after that, it's just been something else for them. But what is surprising, and it's what you had mentioned with UN, it's the politics that is, I think, in my opinion, affecting Bungoma farmers, and that is really having a toll on them because if you look at where they are on that league, they are not supposed to be there in the first place. But yes, wako hapo, and it's not a good place for them. Yeah,
I think there is a need. There is a need and there is a gap, and that gap can only be solved by having forums, and I've mentioned this in this show and our previous show. We need to have, number one, you need to have trainings for how to handle and manage teams. You look at new teams, they just think that the league is just participating, winning matches, drawing matches, losing. It's a matter of points. But there is a whole lot of work that goes behind the scenes in every league. For you to manage a team, you need to have people who are behind the scenes that do manage a team. So there is a gap, there is a need for teams to start looking at how to address those issues. And now I'm throwing this challenge to KHU and the counties to start educating team managers, to start educating team directors, their presidents, their chairmen, or their chair ladies on how to manage teams, how to set up structures, and how to start managing the matches as well. One of the key factors that you'll find whenever you start going to those higher level of coaching badges, they start talking about team management, how you
Mhm.
handle your team sessions, how you handle your team psychology, and how the
Changes,
team
but
so
majority.
it's upon them to start looking at that gap and saying, yes, for us to start improving, these are the issues you are facing. And it is sad
Yeah.
to hear that there are some teams that are suffering from team politics. And I usually say, whenever there are club politics, it should be
Mhm.
shielded from the players.
Mhm.
The players should not get into that. But unfortunately, most of our teams, we've allowed the players also to interact at the management level. So
Mhm.
yes, we are self-sponsored club. Yes, everyone is a member. They pay their subscription. But if you have a good level of organization, then you will
Mhm.
shield other people from those issues that come about. Once you have well-laid structures, well-laid rules and regulations within the club, regardless of whether someone is paying their subscription to play at the club, they know that this is what I should abide to. This is what I subscribe to,
Mhm.
and if I go against it, then I should step out and allow the club to continue. So
Yeah.
in that sense, if a club, because I expected Bungoma Farmers to be also in the Super League, and I
Mhm.
do know the some of the managers there. It is
Mhm.
sad, as you've said, and I've had those let me call them rumors as at now, because I haven't
Yeah.
confirmed. But
Yeah.
it is not only Bungoma that are facing these issues. There are a lot of clubs countrywide that are facing such issues, and they are similar to all of us,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
everyone wants to be the club owner, everyone wants to run the club, everyone wants the ideas to go forward and be heard, but they are not sitting as a forum and discussing and saying this is the direction we want the club to go to, and hence it transfers that to on pitch. So if off the pitch you have issues, then on the pitch you also have issues, because it affects even the player psychology, and the players
Yeah.
will not even want to come and train.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's quickly switch gears to the women's league because we have a few other things to sort out or rather
Mhm.
discuss. In the Women's Premier League, Strathmore are top with 12 points from 4 matches. USIU come in second with 7 points from 3 matches. And then Blazers are third with 7 points from 4 games. Lakers come in fourth with 4 points from 3 games.
Mhm.
Sailors are fifth with 4 points from, or rather, 3 points from 4 matches. Wolverines, promoted side, have 2 points from 5 games. And then we have Sliders, who are last at number
Mhm.
7 with 2 points from from 5 matches played.
Yeah.
Simon,
And
yeah,
Jugush, when
you
you
know
look at
about.
that,
Uh-huh,
you look at that, you remember
uh-huh.
the point I've just stated: club politics versus on-pitch performance. Look at those bottom
Yes.
two sides. Look at those
Uh-huh.
bottom two sides. That's what's affecting those two teams. They
Uh-huh.
have internal squabbles, internal
Uh-huh.
fights that are causing on-pitch performances. They do have the
Uh-huh.
players to challenge for the league. They do
Uh-huh.
have the resources to actually participate and be
Uh-huh.
among the top four teams. But
Uh-huh.
because they are having issues, then that is affecting their performance.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's that about that. In terms
Yeah.
of the other teams,
Uh-huh.
Blazers are at risk.
Uh-huh.
They're at risk of being left behind, because you look at their next team that is number
Uh-huh.
4,
Uh-huh.
Lakers.
Yeah.
They are just one win away from
Yeah.
getting to number 3.
Yeah.
Assuming they win a game 3-0, then they'll
Yeah.
be third. So
Uh-huh.
of course we know that Blazers are going through a tough time, but they
Yeah.
have the players and they have the capacity to actually go back to the top. This league
Yeah.
is Strathmore's league to lose.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I've said that a couple of times. They're in a very strong position to actually win this league this season. So
Yeah.
they need to take it one game at a time, one game at a
Mhm.
time.
And that's
And
always the morale, or rather the talk Coach Meshak Senge always has. Yeah,
yeah,
for him, he always believes in yes, we have won, but it's one match at a time.
yeah, and it's now up to him and his technical team to make sure the players do understand that.
Hmm.
Sometimes players become complacent,
Yeah.
especially when you go on a winning run. They
Hmm.
become complacent. They don't train as much as they used to train.
Hmm.
They don't have that zeal during a game as much
Hmm.
as they used to. So I think the best is, if I was in Senge's position, the first thing I
Hmm.
will do is to make sure that I'll set my team up not to concede any goals.
Hmm.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Because whenever teams are meeting a team that is on top of the league, they
Hmm.
make sure that they score fast and then they start giving that team a difficult time. So the
Hmm.
best is, so Senge should build on a strong defensive basis as well as
Hmm.
a midfield one. So he
Yeah.
makes sure that in every game he plays, he has
Mm.
he dominates in the midfield,
Mm.
and then now work on scoring, because
Hmm.
if you have a good defensive base, you dominate midfield and you score one goal, then things
Hmm.
start working for you. The
Yeah.
jigsaws start falling into place. Why?
Mm.
Because the defense is solid, you're dominating midfield, and now you're pinging the team to their own goal, and you started scoring one, two, three goals, and eventually you get the win. So
Mm.
um, for coaches who know this, Jugusha will tell you it's much more difficult to be at the top than trying to get to the top.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's look at the Super League and the Women's Super League. KU are really guns blazing. They have
Mm.
16 points from 6 matches played. They have not lost any game and have only
Mm.
conceded one goal in the entire
Yeah.
6 games. MSC, who are also blazing, because this is one team, and I know you have a lot to talk about this.
Mhm.
Um, they have 9 points from 4 matches, 2 games at hand.
Yeah.
UON, another team that is also blazing, because if you actually
Mhm.
look at number 2 and 3, they are separated by
Goal
a
difference.
point difference.
A point and goal
Uh,
difference. Yeah.
yeah, but they both have games at hand. And then number 4 is JQuat with 8 points. They have also been improving. I watched, I think, their last 2 games, and they seem to have, upped their game in
Mm.
terms of playing. MMU is fifth with 5 points from 5 games played.
Yeah.
Chapel, a new entrant, with 6 games. They have only a one win, and I
Mhm.
think it was their first game which they won.
Mhm.
Vikings, I would say one of the oldest. They shouldn't be here, but
Same things as I said. Off-field matters affect
yes,
on-field matters. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. They only have a point, and have conceded the most number of goals, which is 13. Uh, an average of every team seems to have scored them, if you look at it that way.
Yeah. Let's talk about the university sides. If you look at that
Yes.
league, the university sides ndio wamejipanga from number 1 to number 5.
Uh-huh.
The club sides are the ones that are in the bottom.
Yeah.
Uh, Number 1, KU. It's a good team. Most of the players there, I know them. I've worked with them, and it's a
Uh-huh.
team that has been in the making for the past 3 or 4 seasons. It's
Uh-huh.
it's a team that they know each other, they understand each other. They know they know their weaknesses, they know their strengths, and they've utilized that. I watched them play in Nakuru, and it's a team that will be a force to reckon with this season if they can keep fit and they can keep those players together. MSC
Uh-huh.
the same. MSC took those players 2 3 seasons ago and started gelling that team. And I think for this team, actually, COVID worked for them. because COVID gave them that a time to play together, to train together, and also the coast circuit gave them that time as a team to really get that understanding and that team chemistry. So it's a team that if they continue doing what they are doing, and they continue keeping their players fit and continue actually taking those risks, because MSC, it's the first, I think it's the first coastal side to participate in almost all major tournaments in the country.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
that's
day they were in
cool.
Nakuru,
Yeah.
and that's a huge sacrifice, and it took a lot of planning. And if we can go back to my point about professionalism, this is one
Yeah.
of the teams that is being handled professionally, and you can see the results.
Yeah.
uh,
That's
MSC, as I said, my point at Impala, MSC is also an elite club. And you
yeah.
look at MSC, the MSC women are also handling themselves as an elite club.
Yeah.
Yes, they may have issues here and there in terms of access to facilities and stuff, but they are still doing their best, and they are recruiting well. They are giving young women chance, and they are showing it. So very
Mm,
soon, this team, Jugush,
mm, mm-hmm.
once they step into the
Premier
Premier
League.
League, I don't see them getting relegated. If they continue with that strategy they have,
Mm-hmm.
it will be a very good team to watch.
Okay. That's
That is in
interesting.
the Premier League, yeah.
Okay. Credit
Mm.
to also UON because I know they really try and do a lot of friendlies when they are not
Mm.
playing their games.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them, active and do this. I am more saddened by what is happening at Vikings because Vikings is one club which you would not expect them to be there, but nonetheless, that's where they are at, and let's hope they'll be able to sort out whatever issues internally they have that they can be able to, rise up to the occasion and go back to the Vikings we
Jugush,
used.
what I can say about that regarding that situation for all
Yeah,
teams in the country is
yeah,
sometimes for a wound to heal, you have to open it up and clean it,
yeah,
and then uh, wrap it up in fresh bandage or
yeah,
cotton.
yeah.
So most of these teams need that. They need to have that session where they have a debrief.
Mhm,
They open up those wounds, they clean them, and then they put on medicine and wrap it.
mhm,
What's happening is most of the teams have kept quiet, and they've
mhm,
let those wounds fester. Now they are bigger wounds. They are more toxic to handle. Yes,
mhm,
this reasoning of we are a self-sponsored club, we
yeah,
have issues. It will never end. And
mhm,
most of the clubs, most of the biggest clubs you see, even in football, in rugby, in cricket, all over the world,
mhm,
very few of them have been started by corporations. Most of
mhm,
them started as community-based clubs. Look at
mhm,
Gor Mahia. Let's
mhm,
jump into football a bit. Look
mhm,
at Gor Mahia. Look at
mhm,
Madare Youth. Look at Kariobangi. Look at uh, AFC Leopards. They started as community clubs. Right now, they are huge franchises.
mhm,
What they did was just to sit down and say, this is the direction we want to take, and
mhm,
this is what we need to do. And they started making those steps.
mhm,
We are still struggling with, if you ask a player now, Jugush, just pick
mhm,
any club,
mhm,
the self-sponsored club, pick
mhm,
a player right now, ask them the issues in the club,
mhm,
pick a player who has been there 10 years ago, ask them in a separate session, ask them the
mhm,
issues they had back then. I
mhm.
can guarantee you that 9 out of those 10 points will be the
They say,
same.
yeah.
So it tells you that we are not having those difficult conversations to
Mhm,
start a change.
mhm,
And as I keep saying, don't look at the top dogs and say they have issues. They are start at home. Let's
yeah.
fix issues kwa ground kwanza, and
Mhm,
then it will cascade into those other areas. Yeah.
mhm,
Mm.
yeah. Okay, we are done with the league. It's supposed to come back on the 15th of September
Mhm.
2022, but let's wait and see when that will happen. We hope to,
Fingers
have
crossed.
Yeah, we hope to get back to this hockey and just enjoy some good hockey because we were really having fun. Let's quickly talk about Commonwealth, and we're going to look at it in an African point of view.
Mm,
Of course, our ladies finished ninth. They managed
mhm,
to, defeat Ghana in their last game. So that means ranking wise, we have gone up, if I'm not wrong, right?
mm, yeah.
We are now number two. South Africa are top, of course, and then followed closely by, uh, you know, um, Kenya, and then we have Ghana. That is for the ladies. The men didn't participate, but let's talk about because Africa-wise, in the men's category, we had South Africa,
And
Ghana,
Ghana.
yeah,
Mm.
who are representing Africa in the continent. Your performance, your general overview of Ghana's performance, because they finished what, 10th, if I'm not wrong.
Mm. Mhm.
Yes, them they finished 10th. Um, but what impressed me was South Africa. I think they a fight in that game.
South Africa, you can regard South Africa more or less like outside Africa because those guys they participate in the pro league. The
Hmm.
other African sides we don't.
Hmm.
So you could see the difference. You could see even
Yeah.
when they are playing against other top sides, you could see there is a
Hmm.
huge difference between how we are playing and how they are playing.
Hmm.
And it comes down to the investment they've had as a country, the investment
Hmm.
they've made
Hmm.
towards that sport. You look
Yeah.
at Ghana have started making those investments.
Hmm.
And if they continue
Hmm.
as a nation having those investments, Ghana won't be the same in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
I believe they'll start now. If the Pro League will be there, or the World League, or any other international competition there, we shall be seeing Ghana.
Mm.
The other day, you saw them starting having, and I mentioned this, they started having those relationships among countries.
Yeah.
Ghana hockey and now England hockey have a partnership. So
Mm.
we intend to see some of the fruits from there.
Mhm.
Kenya, as a country, we are not making those investments. The
Yeah.
government is not investing into anything for that
Mm.
matter.
Yeah.
It's not a KHU problem only.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
also a government problem. The government is
Mm.
not investing in healthcare. It's not
Mm.
investing in agriculture. It's
Yeah.
not investing in sports. We're
Mm.
only seeing them invest in roads, infrastructure like roads and stuff. So I don't know what the plan of the next government will be. And my point would be, if I was among a president of a federation, I
Yeah.
would rally my other presidents and tell them, can we have a meeting with the new sports CS and ask the new sports CS
There
what's
is
the
actually a
government doing?
conversation going around with one of my good friends who's a sports lawyer. Her name
Mhm,
is Sarah or
mhm,
Chwada, if I'm not wrong.
mhm,
And she's starting to lobby, a discussion around who do we want as the next, sports minister. And that discussion has been going on for a while. So let's hope, first of all, we get someone who's credible. A few names have been thrown around here. Of course, it's too early to tell because we still don't have. We have a president elect, yes, but there's a process that is going on in court, so we're gonna respect that.
mm,
But this, I think, is a conversation that you've put it right. That we need to first of all lobby for someone who I think will be proactive in terms of ensuring that we get as much support as
mm.
federations. They get as much support for from the government, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are a primary sponsor. So we
Mm.
hope that that will be able to happen, and let's kick off this conversation even as we lobby around those in the private sector to just come in and have this conversation around that.
You know, our biggest problem is that civil servant positions
Hmm.
for Kenyans is more of a reward.
Yeah.
It's not a job, it's a
Yeah.
reward.
Mm-hmm.
What I'd expect the next president to do is to appoint a CS that has actually been an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I'd go for Paul Tergat.
Mm-hmm.
He has been an athlete, an elite athlete, and he also is in a position where he manages an athlete sport.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people you appoint as the CS because they do understand how to run sports and they
Mm-hmm.
understand the issues that are faced by sportsmen and women. So
Mm-hmm.
appoint a CS that actually has a background of sports. And the background is not that alikuwa anachezanga football in college. No, he has been in elite sports. And look at other countries. Jugush, if you look at other countries, most of
Mm-hmm.
their sports ministers are people who are former athletes
Yeah.
and they manage those sports very well.
Mm-hmm.
So if look at Senegal,
Mm-hmm.
they've taken that route and they won the football African Cup of
Yeah.
Nation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need a CS that actually understands sports. Let not be a position that because this guy lobbied votes for me, I'll give him I'll give him the position.
Yeah.
That's the problem you're having. That's why
Yeah.
we are seeing the current CS make decisions that are that are outside this world. Like you saw the
Mm.
other day, what they did with FKF,
Yeah.
because that's someone who does not understand sports.
Yeah.
She does not understand um, what how it will affect the entire sports in the country. So we my challenge and my request to the next president is kindly look into this. For example, I'd expect him to select for the health sector. He selects someone who understands health, so
Technocrat.
probably a former doctor.
Mm-hmm.
If it is roads, a civil engineer or something like that, let's get professionals to run the dockets. Let's just not get anyone to come in and because it's a reward, they are rewarded with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. And talking about someone who has been, selected into a position, I am talking about the recent appointments into different committees in the African. Um, what is it called? That thing keeps I keep forgetting. Africa Hockey Federation.
Africa Hockey Federation.
Yes, when they put it in short form, you get confused.
Mm.
Africa Hockey Federation, and looking at the list of different people. Let me start with one from. I'm trying to pull it out.
Mhm.
Let's go.
So if we start with the competition committee, we
Uh-huh.
have the current sitting KHU president, Ashon Randiek, who has been appointed as Africa Hockey competition committee. So I think this is one of the it's a committee that basically gets involved with managing competitions, arranging them,
Mhm,
organizing them, and that. And
yeah,
then in the officials committee, we have Dorothy Muga,
mhm,
who has been nominated as or appointed as a member, and we have
mhm,
Shiraz Yakub,
mhm,
who has also been put there as a member. And then now we have the development committee where Moses Kagochi and Manjit Jite, most
mhm.
of us know him as Teddy. They
Ted,
have been
yes.
appointed there, and
Mhm,
and as you said, this is a good and proud moment for us. Having Moses Kagochi in that committee is
yeah,
really really good for Kenyan hockey as well as Africa hockey because this man has a lot of experience both in Africa and in Europe, and
yeah,
he can help Africa as a whole. And I do hope that as Kenyan hockey, we can also tap into his knowledge and he can help us. Unfortunately, what does that saying goes that a prophet is not appreciated in his own home, or how is it said?
yeah. That's how it's said.
Yeah, so I do
Mhm,
hope that we can give him that audience and listen
mhm.
to him. If
It's
you
not
sit down
actually.
with
It's not actually just a saying. It's scriptural.
mm,
It's in
it's
the holy
scriptural,
book. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
So I just hope that actually I was saying if you sit down and have a chat with Moses Kagochi, you will learn a lot. He always
mm,
has something to to teach you, or you can learn something from just having normal conversations. And Jugush, you and I have seen this. We've had chats with him on the show, off the show, and he
Yeah.
always has a point that opens up your mind. Those
Yeah.
are the people we need. And if we can have 10, 15 Moses Kagochis across the country, I
Yeah.
think we can improve. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Yes, and we're coming to the tail end, and we're dealing with the last thing, and this is the Masters League, and
Mm,
it's going to happen on the 3rd to the 4th of. Is it 3rd? Yes, it's
mm.
3rd and 4th.
Third
Yeah,
and fourth, the weekend of third
3rd
and
and
fourth.
4th of September, and it's going down
Mm,
to Mombasa. I was trying to get that league standing from the site, but it looks like it's not there. Mombasa County
mm,
Hockey Association is the one hosting it. It will be at the MSC club. Registration
mm.
or entry fee is 5,000,
Yeah.
and we are, or rather, they are calling for anyone who wants to advertise to contact the relevant authority. In this case, it's the MCHA president, who is Oliver. And so that is going down. Simon, do you have any update for us? Are we live
Yes,
streaming? Mhm,
I'm excited that Hockey KE has also been thrown into the mix.
mhm,
So we are Hockey KE. We are the official media partners of this tournament.
mhm.
So we will be live streaming those matches like in the series one, and hopefully we can get guys to chime in and also
Yeah.
tune in and watch those matches live. So
Mhm.
we tutakuwa kwa site.
Yeah.
We shall be bringing you live
Tupigie
updates.
simu, usishinde tukuambie kata tuko site.
Kata, yeah, and yeah, I like to make an official announcement that in our commentary team we will have Jairus Boka mwenyewe. He will
Mhm.
be among the commentators of that tournament, and I'm sure. I think Boka will be our Peter Drury very soon.
That's true.
Yeah, so we are excited to partner with KHU and MCHA for this tournament, and
Mhm.
I'm sure it will be a very good tournament to watch. If you're not free during that weekend, don't
Yeah.
worry. Um,
Mhm.
you can still watch from the Facebook page, YouTube, as well as any other social media. The links will be posted. But if you are free, make sure
Mhm.
that you either drive down or take a train trip down to the coast and come and let's enjoy Masters hockey,
Yeah,
and
that's
also
right.
interact with those legends of the game that more or less would not make it to come to City Park.
Yeah, that's true. Apart from actually Godo Moses, the rest of those who have, commented on our page today are the veterans. And I know next
Mm,
week we are gonna discuss more of this. How many teams have registered so far,
mm,
and what's gonna happen. So we will give you details even as we continue, or rather, continue with this show next week. So stay tuned and on these different handles, and we are going
mm,
to give you more information. But now we
mm.
need to give it a wrap. Saimo, your last words?
Before we continue,
Yeah.
in case you are out there and listening and you need to advertise, you're also having advertisement spaces for the
Mhm.
live streaming during the
Yeah.
live broadcasts.
Yeah.
In case you need to advertise, give me on Jugush or Hockey KE or Hockey Kenya a shout in the DMs,
Yeah.
as well as you can find our phone numbers on the social media pages. Give us a call and we can discuss how you can advertise. Also, if you advertise with us, it's also you are supporting the channel as well as Kenya Hockey in general. So yeah, and at this point, Jugush, I think it's good. We appreciate those guys who've always supported us financially
Yeah.
to continue running this show.
Mhm.
You are amazing guys. Thank you very much. You can always continue contributing as well as helping us improve as well as run the show. So now to my final words. As I said, the clubs need to have a chat and dissect, do a debrief so that they can improve. We also need to start running the sport professionally at club level, Let's have those forums. Let's have those trainings. I'm currently working on something that can help similar situations. I don't want to
Yeah.
give anything away now, but yeah, very soon we'll be launching something, and then yeah, we just need to get to that point where we say we've been doing things the same way over and over, and they are not working. Let's try something else. I
Yeah.
want to see Kenya participate in the Pro League. I want to see us having 10 or to 15 astroturf pitches across the country, regardless of whether it's in public land or is in a university or is in a high school or college. I also want to see clubs um, having their own tournament series, having to participate in international events. Yeah, so, but for that to happen, let's have those difficult conversations within. Let's sort out all the club politics and let's start running the sport within our clubs professionally.
Yeah. That's true. I have nothing to say. See you in Mombasa, but before that, we still have a week to go. So next week, to on a show, same time, same place, from 8 p.m. Remember to follow and like us on our social media handles. That is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and that is Hockey KE and Hockey Kenya. And you need to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Hockey Republic,
Mm.
and as well as Hockey KE and Hockey Kenya. For now, it's bye bye and God bless you. See you next week.